Daryl's point about how they're incompetent and they get so many things wrong, and it's true they do, but that all begs the question of what is their real motive. If their real motive is to stop terrorist attacks or to find out what menacing people are doing in the world, then they don't have a very good record. But if their motive is to build a system that keeps people in fear because they know they're being surveilled, if it's to gain economic advantage for American industry, as a lot of these stories suggest is at least part of the motive, if it's to simply know what other countries are doing so they have greater competitive advantage, I think you can make the case that they've been tactically successful. But as to the point about optimism or pessimism, I take James' point that if you look at historically, there's reason for pessimism. But I ultimately agree with Bruce, and I think there's two critical differences in what this story has brought about. Number one is, in the past, domestic means of communication were always domestic. Even 10 years ago, when the New York Times broke the story of the Bush warrantless eavesdropping program, that involved Verizon, Sprint, AT&T, companies that only Americans use. This story has become global, because we're talking about Facebook, Skype, Microsoft, YouTube, the companies that people around the world use to communicate. And so what Bruce said is exactly right, that by making this all transparent, even if people sort of knew before, it's dramatically increased the cost. The US has much greater diplomatic costs, political costs, economic costs as people turn away from American companies, no longer trusting them, and ultimately a significant cost in how people view the United States much differently after these revelations than before. And I think that's the key. Not that Barack Obama is going to wake up tomorrow and turn a new leaf into this liberal civil libertarian, but instead that the United States government, just being a rational self-actor, will know that it has to rein in some of these abuses because the costs are far too great now compared to the benefits.